Hello friends, welcome to today's lecture. Today, as you can see, this lecture is about what to do in descriptive writing. But descriptive writing of which exam? Today we are going to discuss about the descriptive writing of EPFO mains ASO exam. So first of all, congratulations to all of you who have cracked this exam, the assistant section officer exam of EPFO. As we all know, that was a very tough cookie to crack because there was so much competition and the cutoff went way higher than anyone expected, right? Almost 95 was the cutoff of this year's. So those who are in has done a marvelous job, very well done, right? So that's my heartfelt congratulations to all of you. And those who could not make it, I saw a lot of students who could not make it, though they had attempted a 96 or a 97. Nothing to feel sad about. This was a competition where it was so close that even if you are the best out of the best, by a margin you might have missed. So nothing to worry about it. There are so many exams that are coming. I'm sure that all of you who had been sincerely preparing would do very well in all those exams. Now coming back to this particular exam, the EPFO ASO Assistant Section Officer, or also known as the EPFO Assistance exam. The mains is scheduled to happen in the first week of November, as all of you know, right? And many of you who had got through had been requesting me in the group over mail to do something on the descriptive section of this exam. So I thought to make a very small lecture session. What would it entail? Let me show you. We will first have an idea about what the descriptive writing section is. Right. So that is here. Total marks that the descriptive writing section of this exam is of 30. Right. And 45 minutes will be given to you for this particular section. Three tasks have been mentioned in the notification, right? And they are letter, then Prezi, and comprehension. These three tasks have been mentioned in the notification. So expecting that these three would be coming. So letter, Prezi, and comprehension, three tasks, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and 30 marks, right? So that's what it is. So the first 2 hours would be your objective paper of your English, general knowledge, quant, and then after that you will have this 45 minutes descriptive writing paper, right? So that was about what is this exam, how would this exam would look like, right? Now also understand that this what we are going to do today is not discuss what to do in letter writing, what to do in Prezi, what to do in comprehension. No, what we are going to discuss today, or what I am going to direct you towards today, is those lectures which are already there in our Merit Shine channel, uh, which are linked to these topics. If you see these, the topics that is there, the letter writing, the Prezi writing, the comprehension, uh, these descriptive writing topics are a little different from what we normally get in the PO exam, isn't it? Right? In SBI PO, in IBPS PO, we get what? We get an essay writing and a letter writing activity. But here, yes, there is a letter writing activity, but there is a Prezi, there is comprehension, and a lot of you have been, doubtful of what to do, how to start preparing for this. Right, such an important exam, you should be well prepared before you go to the exam. So we have around what, 20 days from now till the exam. How do we utilize our time so that we are adequately prepared for the descriptive section? That's something that is in your mind, which is very right, and that's where I'm going to direct you to those lectures, to those sessions in our channel, which will help you to gather the necessary concepts, tricks, techniques that is required to write a good letter, that is required to make an effective précis, and that is required to make you write the important, succinct, short and effective answers in comprehension, reading comprehension. Okay, right? So that's the target today, to direct you to those lectures which would help you in doing that. In the course, I will also add on some things that that I think is relevant for this exam in the course of this session. Okay, right? So let's see what is the, I'll be listing all the lectures in order, so you would know which lecture to do first, and then which one, and what to do in those things, right? Okay, so let's start with the first lecture. Acha, and obviously it will be useful for all written assessment tests. Definitely it will be useful for this test, but if you are not taking this test, it will still be relevant for all written assessment tests that you will be taking, right? So let's see what should be the first lecture that you should take. The first lecture that you should take is the IBPS PO 2018 descriptive writing, solving the challenges. Now you may ask me, sir, this is IBPS PO 2018 descriptive writing, how would it help us? Let me show you. How would this help you? First of all, this lecture discusses the common challenge that we face in descriptive writing, the challenges that we face, and irrespective of the exam, the challenges that we face in descriptive writing is more or less the same, right? This also gives you an idea about what to focus on in the lectures that have been referred to in it. In this lecture, we have referred to some of the other lectures in our channel, right? Those lectures we will also list in our list today. But when you go through this lecture, you would come to know what to see in those lectures, right? So these are the two things, the two ways it would help you. And how much time it would take? I know your time is precious. Let me come on the screen now. I know your time is precious, so I'm not going to waste your time, or I'm not going to suggest something that would waste your time, right? So what I would show you is also the time that you would take to go through these lectures cumulatively. So this lecture is about around 21 to 22 minutes. So I'll add on every lecture's time, and at the end we will see how much time it is and whether we should spare that much time for a good experience in that particular exam. Okay, right? So this is the cumulative time. This is the time that you take for this particular lecture, 22 minutes. Okay, so this is the first lecture that you should see. Second, writing skills 1, how to prepare for essay and writing assessment test. Now here this is the next step. This is where we discuss the technicalities of descriptive writing. Yes, the focus here is on essays, but through the essay I would be I'm in this particular lecture I have described the way you should pull up content for your mind, from your mind, and put it in writing, right? And that is how it is going to help you. So how would this help you? The basic idea of content building. How do you build your content? That is one. Second, writing in an ordered and effective way. Third, though you might not get essays, but the top two, the first and the second, that is the content building and writing in an ordered and effective way, would be of great help in any writing assignment, whether it is précis, whether it is letter. What is at the end of the day their focus, their target when they are checking you on descriptive writing? Their target is to see whether you are able to write in the stipulated number of words what is necessary to be written in that particular topic, right? Okay, so writing in an ordered and effective way is what they want to look at, isn't it? So this is going to help you there. The next lecture, acha, how much time, cumulative time, how much time? The last one was 22, this one was 21, so together 43 minutes is what you are going to take for these two lectures. The third lecture, is now we are moving on to each one of those writing assignment. The first writing assignment that we listed was letter writing. Yes. So this is your lecture, letter writing. Letter writing SBI PO 2017 online classes, day 14, 2 mains. So this is the title of that particular lecture. Now, again, you may say that, sir, this is a 2017 SBI PO lecture. Would it help us? How would it help us? Simple. First of all, the format of letter has not changed from 2017 till now, right? And secondly, how would this help you? One, it would give you the format of formal and informal letter. In this, Abhishek sir has discussed the formats of formal and informal letter. Things to remember while writing letter is something that he has discussed. So that is something that's going to help you. Also, based on this and the concepts that we have discussed in the first two lectures, I just listed, you can then practice on your own, right? You can start practicing on your own. Where to practice, how to practice, we'll talk about that, but you can start doing it. Okay. So that was your lecture number 3. Cumulative time 1 hour 45 minutes. Now, if I add all the 3 lectures that we have discussed till now, 1 hour 45 minutes. The next lecture, lecture number 4. Now, here comes the similarity that is there between the EPFO, ASO mains paper and the RBI grade B paper. As we saw that the letter writing part is common in EPFO and IBPS and SBI papers. Similarly, Prezi and subjective reading comprehension is common between EPFO and RBI grade B paper. As a matter of fact, they have been inspired by the RBI grade B papers and have put it in there so that they can evaluate the same things that the RBI does in it. So the Prezi writing lecture, you have to go for the, you'll have to see this lecture, a 45-46 minute lecture. What do you get from this? First, techniques of organizing your thoughts while you are reading. Second, techniques of writing those thoughts in a short and efficient manner, succinct manner. Third, based on these two concepts and the concepts of the lectures that we have discussed in the first 2 lectures, you can then practice on your own Prezi writing of any article, right? Okay, so the techniques you would learn from here, technique in this lecture, and then based on the writing, general writing techniques that we have discussed in the lecture 1 and lecture 2, you can move on with this. Clear? Okay, chalo. So this is how much? 46 minutes. Cumulative time 2 hour 31 minutes. So if you go through this lecture, these 4 lectures together would take you how much time? 2 hour 31 minutes. And many people amongst you have been very tensed about what to do in Prezi. Go through this lecture, you know exactly what to do in Prezi, and then you will have to practice, because that is something that you cannot do away with. Practice would make you better in all of these descriptive writing activities. Okay. The next lecture is lecture number 5 on reading comprehension. Again, from RBI grade B playlist, English writing skills, reading comprehension. Now, what would you get in from there? Understand, this reading comprehension is much different from the objective reading comprehension that you get. Different in terms of the way you answer. There you know the options and you pick the option and mark. Here you will have to create or have to write the answer, right? And I'll also have to make sure of one thing: you just do not quote verbatim whatever has been written in the passage. You'll have to write it in your own words. Okay, so how would this lecture help you doing that? First, it will tell you what to do before you even start reading the passage. Okay, that's the first thing that it will do. Second, it will then tell you what to do while you are reading the passage. So how to read the passage, specifically when the target of reading the passage is writing descriptive answers. And then lastly, it will tell you, this lecture would tell you how to write subjective answers to reading comprehension questions. Okay, right? Needless to say, again, after going through this lecture, you would know everything that is there to do, but then at the end of the day, you'll have to do it yourself. So that is the cumulative time after this lecture becomes 3 hours 45 minutes, right? Now, the last lecture, 6 lectures is what is there. So the last lecture is IBPS PO 2018 descriptive writing, important topics. Now you may again ask me that these are topics. Now first of all, how topics are relevant for us, because there is most probably there is no essay, right? But one, I'm giving this because a lot of you had asked about topics in descriptive writing. So this would be a good base to from where you can start. Obviously there is no end to it, and secondly you understand that 2000 these are 2018 topics. So just without any change in mindset, just sticking to this topic would not help. So what would this lecture or how would this lecture help you? Let's see. This would give us some broad important topics on which you can prepare. Secondly, though these are majorly for essays, the content you generate in this topic is going to help you in every aspect of your writing. As a matter of fact, this will make you a more confident writer. And thirdly, the most important thing, this in this discussion of these topics, I have talked about these topics in little, a little about all of these topics. So they should help you in generating thought processes in an issue, right? So this is the last lecture that you need to go in the order of lecture 1 to 6, and the cumulative time is 4 hour 20 minutes. So now my question is, do you have that much time to spare for? You have, right? 4 hour 20 minutes is something that you can spare, though it looks like 420, and it's you will remember that also, that 4 hour 20 minutes is what you would need to go through this lecture. Now 4 hour 20 minutes in the next 5-6 days you can spare, isn't it? And based on that you can practice. So what are the things that you need to do now, and the things that you need to keep in your mind? First, enjoy the process of writing. Now that's very important, my dear friends, because if you don't enjoy the process of writing, it's just a task for you, you would be tensed in this task, right? So when I say enjoy the process of writing, I do not mean that you just go into an imaginary world. This is a formal writing session. So if you go through the lectures that I have given through, you would know exactly the attitude that is required from you to be in for these particular activities or exercises. But when I say enjoying the lecture, what I essentially mean is that while you are writing, your target should be to communicate with your audience the what you are thinking about that particular issue. Okay, right, the points on that particular issue. So the clarity of thought that is there in your mind, portraying them on the screen is what your target should be, and that's a very exhilarating task. And let me tell you that if you are into that process, you will always enjoy that process. Okay, so first, that is something that you need to keep in your mind. Second, practice a lot, right? Every day, one each letter, one précis, one reading comprehension, you should be practicing. Now the question might arise that from where? See, for letter writing you do not have any dearth of topics. So they, if, even from online sources, in general, like online sources, you would get a lot of formal letter writing topics, a lot of informal letter writing topics. As a matter of fact, you can also go through the past year papers of IBPS PO and SBI PO, and from memory based paper, and from there you can pick up the topics for letter writing. This would also help you in the letter writing of your upcoming, if you are taking the upcoming exams of PO, there also it would help you. So that's one. Second, from where to practice précis? Now précis is also not an issue. précis, you can start practicing from any article that you have read. If it's a article of 500 words, try to write that précis in 100 words, right? The summary of that particular article in 100 words through the techniques that I have discussed in the lecture of précis. Okay, right? So précis, any article, it can be newspaper article, it can be an article from the book, magazine, anything. Okay, so it does not need to be an article of which has been given in the paper. Okay. Third, the reading comprehension. Now, in the reading comprehension, you can go through the that's something where you might not get immediately relevant questions. So what you can do is that you can visit our course quizzes. In the force quizzes, you can pick up the RCs, but don't look at the options. What you do is that just look at the questions. All questions would not be in terms of questions which can be written subjectively. It can be one liners also, but most of the questions you can write it subjectively. So don't look at the options, look at the question and try to frame the answer of these questions from the paragraph, okay, with the following the technique that we have discussed in our RC lecture, okay. RC lecture of the RBI grade B. Now apart from this, there is another source from where you can get it. Just like you can go for previous years memory based paper in SBI, of SBI and IBPS for letter writing. Similarly, you can go for previous year memory based paper of RBI grade B for Prezi and yes, reading comprehension, right? So that would also give you a little bit of practice. So that's from where you should practice. Keep track of the time. Now time is of essence. How much minute do you have? 45 minutes. So if I crudely, if I divide 15 minutes for each activity, obviously as you practice you would understand that in one activity you might take a little less time, in another activity you might take a little more time, but let's say 15 minutes for each activity, and 10 marks for each one of these activity is what our understanding is at this point of time. We don't know for sure, but at this point of time for each one of these sections. So in these 15 minutes you will have to wrap up everything of that particular activity. So you need to also type the whatever you are thinking. So what you should target is that each one of these activity you should target to get it completed within 10 to 12 minutes, because always remember in descriptive writing, when you go into actual paper you tend to take 10% more time, 10 to 20% more time. So if you are doing it in 10 to 12 minutes here, you'll be very comfortably doing it within 15 minutes there. Is it clear? Right. So that's something that you need to remember. Word limit is something that you need to fit to. We have talked about it in the individual lectures too, so you'll understand from there. So keep track of the time and word limit, and the most important thing, focus on elaborating less content more effectively rather than pushing in content. So if it's a, let's say, 150 word letter, just focus on two issues to be discussed out there or two issues to be communicated there. Don't go on writing 5 7 8 10 issues. Though you have those issues, you will have to limit your writing to fit into those words, and also to make justice to do justice to those that what you are writing. So if one issue, if you have not written 30-40 words, you'll not be able to do justice. So that's something that you should focus on. More of that you would get in these individual lectures that I have suggested you. So remember this, focus on elaborating less content more effectively rather than writing more content, okay, right? And at the end, remember, everyone is writer. You just need to find your writer, the writer inside you. And this is not literature writing, this is not creative writing, understand that. So this is not something where you will have to know beautiful words and then only you will be able to crack it. No, no, no. As a matter of fact, this is the most simple form of writing, and that is professional writing. Here the target is to make yourself clear in less number of words, in simple words, less and simple words, to the person who would be reading it, right? Okay, so this kind of writing everyone can do, and you can do it. That's my belief in you. You just need to believe in yourself and do a good job of it. So once you go through these lectures, you know what exactly to do. So go through these lectures and start writing. Practice every day all of these at least once, and then you would be on a roll. You would crack this exam like anything. There is nothing to be tensed at. Every material that is there, that is required for this exam is already there on our channel. I've already given you the links to it. The links of those would also be present in the description of this particular lecture, so you can click from there also, right? So that would be all for today. All the best for this exam. prepare well and enjoy your exams. Thank you very much. Bye bye.